Hello, it's Nancy welcoming you to Garden Scroll. Today is March the 4th, and I told you the last time or a time before that I would probably do this area next and get it started cleaning out, but I got sidetracked. Well, I would still love to get the front cleaned out first, and I plan on doing some of that today. I also wanted to do some stuff in the back, and I'll show you that just in a second. So while there's still a great deal to do in the back, I did get this little area cleaned out, and the reason I wanted to do it was because I divided a bunch of my Laura tall phlox, and actually this could use some more dividing. I think I read that just like 6 of these little stems when they come up, and then they should have some space between them so that they can aerate. So I may get around to that, but right now I've really got to move on and get some other stuff done, which I did actually thin it quite a bit, but I can tell it probably needs some more. And because my husband wanted to burn the stumps, try to get those out of there so I can put some more trees in this year, I did clean out this area. Of course, it was also encouraging me to do it to see these beautiful Lenten roses in bloom, and they need a pretty spot to shine, and I need still to move them. I need to move those, but also need to clean out the area. But once these may not get so tough, they may be easier to go ahead and move later, but I've got to get them some shade. And this is the other little area where I went ahead and thinned some out. You can see where I put sand back in to cover up the holes that I made when I dug some out. And this little area still probably could even use some more thinning, but I don't want to get it so sparse that they won't make a good showing this year either. And I did go ahead and put some in this little window box, and I'll take these to my brother-in-law, and if he doesn't want this many, he can give them to his beautiful girls, which happen to be my nieces, and they'll love them too. And my nephew's wife, I think they will. If he doesn't want all these, I'm pretty sure they would take them off his hands. But also what I was saying was that the time to do this is early spring, while the stalks are still green and tender and you can dig them out. I'm not even going to attempt to do this once the stalks get tough and the roots are all clumped together. It's just too hard to do it. So that's why I went ahead and came back here instead of staying in the front. And then also I wanted to trim back my clematis, because they will get started early spring going up the stalks or up the trellises, and I just want them to be ready. I just can't work as long as I used to be able to. I try, but it's 2 hours is already feeling like 8 hours, and then my body gets so sore and the allergies kick in, and I just am having a tough time of it. But I will go ahead and do it, even though it will take longer. What did Jacob say when he went to meet his brother that came to meet him? And he told him, I go ahead and I will tread on softly, such as the women and children are able to bear. And so that's pretty much what I'm having to do right now, is just do what I can and not try to get in too big of a hurry, because there's no way I can get in a big hurry. But in my mind's eye, all this stuff I want to already be gone. I can try to see it that way. And my roses probably need trimming, but I'm not certain that we won't get another freeze, so I'm kind of holding off, because if I would have trimmed them sooner, they would have been bare and in danger of it getting the whole rows. This way I think they will come back out of this. I'm pretty sure they will. Certainly hope they do. But there's just so much to do. And hopefully I'll get it all done. This is where I trimmed that one clematis. I don't know if you remember how much it was on here, but I trimmed a big bunch of this off, and it will, if it's not already got some green in there, it won't be long before it does. Just look at this mess. Wouldn't you just love to be out here helping me with this? Could certainly use some help. Doesn't this look like fun? Okay, that was sarcasm. Because no, it does not look a bit like fun. It looks like a chore deluxe, but once it gets done, it's going to look great. Look at these beautiful Sweet William coming up. Today is February the 6th, a Saturday, and yesterday we did some running around, but the day before I spent 5.5 hours out here cleaning, and actually that's not counting the time that my husband helped me, because he helped me some of that time. One thing I was going to get and forgot to was some spray glue. I'm going to spray this. You can see it's got a lot of cracks and stuff in it, and I think if I spray it with glue it'll last maybe, hopefully, quite a bit longer. So when I did the 5.5 hours, for some reason it felt better than the 2 hours that I did the day before. I just was not feeling good that day at all. And I started out not feeling good. The Thursday that I did all this, but it didn't last long. I started feeling good, and when I got out here it was a beautiful day. And oh look, also here's what I saw. There's some buds on my hydrangea. This is the first one that I've gotten to actually get going for me. I know it's a tiny little thing, but it had, I think, 3 blooms on it last year. I saved one of them just because it's my first hydrangea bloom, and it's dried, and I'll probably maybe paint it or spray paint it, maybe, I'm not sure. But I got all these pots cleaned out. This little pot broke. You can see I put the pieces that broke off of it up there in it. I'm not sure what I'll do with that. Sometimes I can recycle stuff out here, but sometimes it's just got to go. So I'll see. And I took a bunch of the plastic off, but I left it on the glass things, except for the glass things that it had already blown off of, and I decided to go ahead and leave those off. So hopefully that wasn't a bad idea. And I did go ahead and glue back some of the things that had fallen off their little stands. So I feel good about what I got done, for sure. Of course, I always wish I'd got more done, but it was a good feeling to get what I did get done. And it's clean and pretty on this side. Even got the little pots cleaned up. I still need to fix my little birdhouse and paint it again, so it'll be ready to go out for some little bird to build their house in. I also got the other side cleaned out, which this is just in front of this. It's still on the one side of the house, and there's another one. This little one had to be glued, so she's just waiting her glue to dry, and then I'll put it back up there. Matter of fact, it's probably dry now. Let me see if I can put it back up there. So there she is, all ready to put the flowers all around her. And all this has been cleaned out. This one I had to glue back on, and she kept falling off, so I put this little stake in front of her to hold her on, and looks like that worked. So my husband trimmed this hibiscus down for me. This is the Texas Star Hardy Hibiscus. I'm pretty sure it will be back, even though we did get below zero for 10 days. Or part of it was below zero, and then it, of course, gradually began to come up a little bit. But it was still below freezing. Also, I wanted to say that my fingernails, this little one, joined the ranks of the broken fingernails. This side still awaits me to get over here and clean all this old dead stuff out. It looks so much better once this stuff is out of there, and it makes me feel so much better for it to look better. But I think I may take off today. I'm just really tired. Even when we did our running around yesterday, it seemed like everything was rush from one point to the other point, because we wanted to be there when the people we wanted to see were available to be with us a little bit. So we ended up excuse me, we ended up just kind of rushing from one store to one person we wanted to visit, and it just was a rush job all the way around. So I'm tired again this morning, because I started out tired from having done the 5.5 hours the day before. But I think I'm going to do some computer work and something else today. Maybe I may end up getting out here some, but I think when I get out here, I hope to be feeling good and to be able to take the time to literally get all of this whole side. We did do some of it. My husband actually came out and helped me with some of it. I got these little pots, and we got all of the pots around this stump, and that's going to be another challenge to get this out of here, because we put like stuff that's supposed to help rot it out, and it really hasn't done anything. And the ones in the back are so much smaller than this one, and they did not burn. So he's tried it a couple of times, and it's just not burning it off, or down. It's burning around it, like the outside bark maybe, but it's just not burning the stumps down, and we need to get those out of there so I can plant some more trees there. The sooner the better, because I do have shade and partial shade plants planted around some of my tree stumps, and I need a tree there to give my little plants some shade. But we did get actually, you can see we got this far with it. Now right there, is where we'll start up again when I get the chance to get back out here and get all this old dead stuff out of here. I want it out, but I also know I've got to do it as I'm able to do it. So that'll be a while. And this year I want to put some smaller, shorter plants in this pot, so I can still see my little squirrels, and they won't be hidden by the time the summer gets going good. So I hope to have this one to be really pretty this year. And of course I'll want to glue my little plants back on here. I really don't remember what I did with the other two, but I left this one, and you can see it's got sedum coming up in it. This is the little thundercloud sedum, and it's very pretty. I will take that off for now, and because I like to glue them on so that when I water, if I put a blast on there, it doesn't knock them off, and they stay pretty and the wind doesn't blow them off, and that's the plan. Here's a couple more, or 3 more pots that need to be cleaned out. And then we did get a little bit of this, but we didn't get on down very far. And then and there's the other pampas grass that my husband cut down the other day. And then this is I call this my seed box, because I do like to plant my seed here where I can watch it and know where it is, and then transfer it if I decide to transfer it. And so I want to clean this out. I've been just letting the petunias that were here, because they go to seed and just drop their seed down and go ahead and sprout and come up in here. And the petunias do look good here. The poor little Dusty Miller, they sometimes make it through winter, but this time that really cold weather got them. I'll need to take those out and either replace them or put something else in there. I've actually been thinking about taking all of the petunias out of this and putting, I don't know, probably trying to start some cold weather plants that needed to be started when there's some cold weather, because I'm suspecting that another frost will come before we're actually done with the cold weather. So that would be a good thing to do, but then again, I've got so much other stuff to do, I don't know if I'll get around to that. But I hope to. I would love to. If I don't, though, the petunias look great in there, so it won't be a real great loss, but I still would love to get some, I'd love to get some poppies going. I have not yet got those started good in my garden. I want them to where they will just come back from seed every year. Would be great. I would even love to have some foxglove and just several things, some coneflowers. But last year I did get some coneflowers started, so hopefully we'll have some of those in the garden this year. But we did get a lot cleaned out, and so I'm thinking if I have one more good day to work in it, I can finish off that side. And then of course there's a little cluster over on that side, and then all of this still needs to be cleaned out. So I now want to get that done before the little hostas start peeking up their little green heads, their little nubbins that come up in the spring. I would like to have it clean so we can just really enjoy them. One of the places that we stopped was my sister and my brother-in-law, and my mother is living with them too, but I didn't get to see her, but she did take her COVID shot yesterday, so that's great. And then she's doing really well. I called her just a while ago and she said it's not bothering her a bit, so that's good. And then these actually were supposed to go to my brother-in-law, but we missed these. My husband, I said, they're right there on the edge of the porch, and so he got the one that was actually setting on it, but he missed the ones beside it, which is really fine because he had probably maybe more than he actually wanted in the other one. So these will probably go to someone else. And I'm thinking maybe Sherry, if she wants these for her garden. And my brother-in-law had a great big amaryllis, like 2.5 to 3 foot tall, and then a bud on it that was at least 3 inches, if not more, big, swelled out. It'll soon be bursting out in glorious bloom. And then here's I think these are my amaryllises anyway. I have some over here in this area, or I did previously. I may not now after that. They are hardy amaryllises, but I don't know if they're hardy to below 0 like we got for as long as we got, but I'm hoping they will make it. If this is them, they probably will. and I think it may be, so hopefully we'll have it. That's the only kind I can grow, the hardy ones you grow outside. But I'm also glad that I got out here and got this done. This is where I dug up his tall phlox, and honestly it looks like there's plenty more there I could dig at. I was reading that if you just put about 6 stalks and then spaces around it so that they get good air circulation, it'll prevent the powdery mildew. And these did have some in this area, which is obviously why, because there's a lot more than 6 stalks before you get a spot that has some air circulation for it. So I'm hoping I got them thinned back enough that they'll look pretty this year. But even though I got a lot done, there's still so much to be done, and it looks like I could thin. This is asters, the pretty purple asters that really shine in the fall, and I probably need to dig that up and kind of space it out some too. And looks like there's an area right there that could use a plant, so I may do that. I usually do most of my transplanting in the fall because of a little bit more time then, but it's awfully hard to do stuff like this in the fall because the stalks will get tough, and this way they're tender. I can just put the shovel in there and get it right out. So if I have the time, I probably will try to do some of that. And of course, here's another area that I haven't got anything done in, hardly at all. A little bit, but that's only because I cleaned around this stuff that my husband is trying to burn out for me, which I won't replace it with a tree, because we put this tree, which is our weeping willow tree, and it's been looking great, so I hope it continues to do well. And of course, this is more stuff that needs to be done, which I'm sure you're not probably that interested in seeing this mess, but it will be a great before, because hopefully we're going to have an after where this stuff won't be in here. And I know that down below all this stuff, there's some green coming up that I need to get where you can see it and it can shine. But again, it's going to take time. And this little chrysanthemum, oh my goodness, it got so huge and tall, and I clipped it back once. So I need to clip it way back in about June. And I actually need to thin it out. It's getting just really too big, but it's a beauty. So even though I'm very anxious to get it done, I also know that I'm going to have to take it easy. I'll just get to hurting too much and even get sick from just the stress of it all. But it's going to be beautiful once I get it done. And get it replanted. Some of it of course will just come back. I think these would have, and this one may, because there is still some green in there, but some of it's probably gone because it was in these little shallow pots and didn't really have much of a chance with that below freezing temperatures. We actually got a little rain. I thought we got more than we did. I think it came in like 3 different little rains, and I thought we got probably at least a ½ inch, but we didn't get any showing in our gauge. So, and I'm noticing today, just 2 days, actually it rained Thursday night, and today is Saturday, so it's already dry. The ground is already dry, but I'm sure the little plants loved it, so that's great. So all this still has to be cleaned out too at some point. And there's a hyacinth here that will soon be blooming. I noticed that I have another little pot that got blown down. So I'll have to check that out, and hopefully the little decor will still not be broken at least. The Lenten roses are still looking gorgeous. They kind of nod or hang down a little bit, so I wanted to turn it up for you so you could see its beauty. And here's another chrysanthemum that I need to clip back or break off, so you can see the pretty greenery coming up. I think this is a tulip. I think I even remember that it's a yellow tulip. Oh, and this is the job my husband did while I was out here cleaning this out. He trimmed this crepe myrtle tree back for me, and I want to keep it a little bit smaller so it doesn't block the rest of the view of the garden, and because it was getting up here into the electrical line, so that's not good. And I think the tree will be just as pretty, just a little bit shorter. And I think all these places where he cut it off will put up shoots, and it'll still be probably as tall as it is now, that much of a length, and hopefully still stay out of the electrical lines. And I think it may be even prettier. And I have a few more grasses I need to get clipped back. It sure seems like spring is coming. On days like today, it feels like spring is here. Oh, look, this little dianthus is still green even after all that cold. I think it's going to live and do fine. There's just more to do than I can get done. It feels like it. But eventually this does get done. At least in times past, it's been my experience. So I'm hoping that I will get it done. And I'm hoping I get it done in time that I can still go ahead and lay a water line or a hose out to use for irrigating the garden, so that I don't have to just stay out here so long like I've been having to do for several years now. And I have tried other things, as I've told you, but our gyp water just totally clogs it up or stops it up. There's just no way it can get through unless the hole is big enough that it can go through without stopping it up. But basically, if a person is going to garden very long, they have to have some type of irrigation system or some way to water that they don't have to just constantly be out watering, because that's all you get done. You can't get anything else done, and there's just so much of that you can do, because there's other things in life that have to be done besides the garden. Although, you know, the garden is a life thing, so I always put it priority. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel.